Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip.
This is Carla Renata, a.k.a. the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip. Love, peace, and hair grease. Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve.
Hampton, but we the real HU, girl. Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Carla Renata, a.k.a. the Curvy Film Critic. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata. I am your host, Carla Renata. If this is your first time joining me, please give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here. And what we do here is we talk about films, I review films, and every once in a while, I'll talk to people above and below the line in the film industry. I want to give a big shout out to my boy, Brandon. He always has messages for me. He said he can't wait for Paws of Fury and Super Pets. I can't either. It's been great for animation, TV, movies, and so far. You can't wait for San Diego Comic-Con next week. I'm glad you can wait for Comic-Con next week. I don't really do Comic-Con, so, you work that out. And he also said, I heard they did early screenings for Paws of Fury, and they're saying it's a crowd pleaser, aka a delight. Well, you heard it here first from my boy Brandon. He's saying that Paws of Fury is going to cause a fury. No pun intended. I'm trying to be like my friend Amanda, and it ain't really working, but I'm gonna own it anyway. So this week, you guys, like I said last week, we're gonna talk a little bit about Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. We're gonna talk a little bit about where's the other one? Don't Make Me Go, and Zombies 3. And I have interviews with talent from all three films. So I know my hair is wrapped up today and I'm looking a little scrubbish, but y'all can forgive me. Y'all know how I roll. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Don't Make Me Go first. Oh, wait, I usually tell y'all what I did the week before and how everything went. So last week I did a lot of screenings, and last night actually I went to the Hollywood Bowl with my friend Angelique Jackson, who is the senior. She's a senior reporter at Variety, and we went to check out Kinky Boots at the Hollywood Bowl with Wayne Brady. Can I just say, Wayne Brady did the daggone thing. He sang, he danced, he was giving us, Dragalicious, but it was a beautiful kind of Dragalicious. I was kind of there for all of it. So go ahead, Wayne Brady, with your bad self. With having said that, let's go ahead and finish talking about Don't Make Me Go. Don't Make Me Go is going to be released on July 13th via Prime Video. I did that because I actually wrote June. I'm like, we are not in June anymore. We are in July. It stars John Cho and Mia Isaac, and it's directed by Hannah Marks. And the gist of this film is that a terminally ill man and his teenage daughter embark upon a road trip from California to New Orleans for his 20th year college reunion. While they are in New Orleans, he secretly hopes that he can reunite her with the mother who left them long ago. It's like this movie left me in the ugly cry, and it took me an hour to compose myself after I saw it. And this is why. We always assume that our parents are going to live forever. We always assume that we're going to live forever. And during COVID, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and it was about 2 months into it. So imagine being 2 months into COVID. We didn't know how you got it. We didn't know how to get rid of it. There were no vaccines yet. And I'm in California and my dad was on the East Coast, and I was freaking out. I'm happy to report that my dad is still with us. He is in remission and is all good in the hood. But having said that, when I saw this movie, that's the first thing that ran through my mind was about the mortality of our loved ones and how that can take a toll on you. This film is beautifully emotional, and it also begs to the question of, You should pay attention to your body even when you think it's nothing. You know how, like, before, when we would get a sore throat, we think nothing of it. And then now we find out that a sore throat can be COVID, it could be the flu, it could be so many more other things. So this film really teaches you to pay attention to when your body is telling you something. Don't dismiss it as nothing, because it may turn out to be something a little bit larger than what you think. And it also begs the question of, what would you do if you found out this was your last, if you, how do I want to say this? What would you do if you found out you had a very finite amount of time left on this earth? What would you spend that time doing? So in this case, John Cho decided to take his daughter to try to meet her mom. When I tell you Mia Isaac is the real deal, Mia Isaac is the real deal. There is not a false bone in any of the acting in her body when she takes on the role of Wally in this film. And we've seen John Cho take on these films as a girl. He's been a girl daddy a couple of times in some films. He's taking on this role playing these dads, and it's turning out to be like a good luck charm for him. He was wonderful in this film. He broke my heart, but in the best way possible. Both of them, it is worth seeing this film just to see their performances. But having said that, you won't have to wait too long to see their performances, because I have interviews with both of them right here. So let me give you, I have interviews with them and with the director, Hannah. So I'm going to show you the interview with Hannah, the director, Hannah Marks, where we talked about the film, and then I'll flip it over to John and Mia. Here we go. Hi. Hannah.
Hello, I just saw you a few moments ago. Hi. I love your background. It's so fun.
Oh, thank you. I kind of love what's happening behind you, too.
Is it a green screen or clouds? Am I in heaven?
Clouds.
Oh, it's clouds. Great.
It's really it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Great. I'm so glad.
Hannah, this movie had me in the ugly cry, girl.
Oh.
It had me in the ugly cry, and let me tell you why. It's a film that talks about, at the beginning it says, you're going to like this film, but you're not going to like the way it ends. And I did not expect the twist that happened, right? And I think it shook me some kind of way, because my mother used to complain about having stomach pain, and it turned out that she had colon cancer. She's still with
goodness. Oh, good.
She's still with me. But when the minute I saw this film, that's what I thought about. So yeah, I know that, to bring it to a lighter note, I know that opening scene at the nude beach, does something like that happen with you and your dad?
I have not been to a nude beach with my dad, but Vera Herbert, our screenwriter, had that experience with her father.
Vera, yes.
Yes, so Vera's father passed away, and this story was really in tribute to him, in honor of him. And she really did have that experience with her dad in Vancouver, actually, I think on Vancouver Island.
I thought that was hilarious, because at first I couldn't figure out why she was so upset. And then you saw stuff swinging. I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand.
Yes. Now, I have to say, Mia was not actually present for that. We did not expose her to anything. That's movie magic.
That's a good thing. What would you say is the most intriguing part of Vera's screenplay that made you go, I have to be the one to direct this piece?
Well, the father-daughter relationship just felt like it was so full of love. Even when they were fighting, you really felt the love between them. And that clearly comes from her own experience. It just felt really personal. It was specific yet universal. And I was really drawn to the twist. It's shocking, and maybe it won't be for everyone, but I think it's really important message. And I loved that this story went to bold places, like it opened on a nude beach. I really was not expecting that. So I appreciated that she was willing to go there.
I appreciate that she was willing to go there too.
Yeah.
I gotta say, what do you think it was about Mia, speaking of Mia, that made you go, this doll right here, she has got to play Wally?
Oh gosh, she was just terrific. Her audition was incredible. It was all over tape and Zoom because of the pandemic, and she really shined even through a computer screen. She has so much emotional depth, and she's so mature, and I could really tell that she was prepared and dedicated, and those are qualities that are really important to me.
And to round it out, I know that you come from a background that involves music with your great-grandfather and your great-great-grandfather. Girl, what made you take that left turn and go towards cinema?
Yeah, it was actually my grandfather, but yeah, my family on my mom's side is in the music business, but my mom and her brothers were actors growing up. My mom acted from age 6 to age 30. So I was really drawn to doing whatever my mom did. My mom is really my role model and my idol. So I just wanted to be like her. And, getting into show business is hard and not always the best feeling, especially when you're a kid. Being a child actor is kind of a crazy beast, but I'm so glad that I pursued it because it's led me here to filmmaking.
And I'm glad that it led you here too, because this was the most beautiful story I've seen in quite some time.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
cannot wait to tell people about it because I'm serious. I was in the ugly cry for real, for real.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for taking time out for me, Hannah. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, Hannah, thank you so much, so much, so much. Hannah Marks, the director of Don't Make Me Go. And now we have the two stars of the film, Mr. John Cho and Miss Mia Isaac. Take a look. Hi, guys and gals.
Hey.
You all, this movie messed me up in the best way possible. I was in the ugly cry for real. Like after the movie was over, I just needed a minute to compose myself. That's how
Wow.
wonderful the screenplay and the directing and your performances were.
Thank you.
I don't even have enough adjectives to describe what I witnessed. And as a military kid, I went on a lot of road trips with my dad when we were going from base to base. So as you guys were embarking upon this great American road trip, what was your favorite scene to shoot, or your favorite thing embarking upon this road trip as Wally and Max? And I'll start with Mia first.
I think my favorite was definitely the father-daughter dance. It was a really, really special scene to shoot, just because it's happy and it's sad at the same time. But I think for me, what I had the most fun shooting along the road trip was this little stop in Texas that we make, where my character Wally kind of gets to go to this like Texas party. And I did a keg stand, which was really cool. So that was a lot of fun.
I love that. What about you, John?
I was also going back to my childhood. We had an old car in this film, so none of the no satellite radio. Back when you had to fight over the dial, no internet, no map function. So it was the Rand McNally.
That you pulled out across the steering wheel, yeah.
This thing, janky seat belts. So that was, it reminded me of my childhood in that way as well. But yeah, it was a lot of life imitating, or art imitating life in this situation.
Oh, that's cool. Now, everybody has that moment where you realize that your parents are people, as opposed to like these mythical people as your parents. For each of you, have you had that minute? Have you had that moment where you were like, oh, my mom and dad are just like a normal person? I'll let John go first this time.
I think it happened pretty early with me. Well, I immigrated to the States when I was 6. And so previous to that, I think I saw them as, indestructible, indomitable people. But then, when we came to the United States, then it was like watching them in the world have trouble with English and communicating with people and having people look down on them. And then that really changed my perception of my parents, and they became much more vulnerable to me. And I think that was probably when I saw that.
How about you, Mia?
Yeah, I think I'm getting to that point in my life where I'm starting to realize that. I think what's really great is I was realizing these things in my own life at the same time that I was playing Wally, and she was realizing these things about Max. And that's what I loved about playing Wally, is that I kind of got to come of age with her and grow with her. And I think what's great about that kind of moment in your life is that it's a turning point with your relationship with your parents, and sometimes it deepens that relationship in a really beautiful way.
Absolutely. There's this line in the film in closing it out where it says, "You're going to love this story, but you're not going to like the way it ends." But I love the way that this interview is wrapping up. And I love talking to both of you. Didn't know where I was going, did you? But I loved how this interview wrapped up. It was my joy and my pleasure to speak with both of you. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, love this film and love both of you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Bye now.
All right, bye.
Seriously, though, you're going to love that story, but you are not by any stretch of the imagination going to like the way it ends. Don't Make Me Go on Amazon Prime Video, hitting on July 13th. Now, my next interview is with two of my little nuggets that are in Zombies 3. Zombies 3 is the third chapter of the franchise Zombies, which is going to be streaming on Disney Plus, and it drops on Friday, July 15th. It's directed by Paul Cohen, and the tagline for the film is, "They beam down, we rise up." Doesn't it remind you of that line that Obama's had where Michelle Obama said, "They go low, we go high"? That's what I thought about when I saw it. Same kind of premise, but different kind of energy and different kind of situation. But what happens here is that Disney takes us back to Seabrook High, baby, and Zed anticipates an athletic scholarship while Addison gears up for Seabrook's first international cheer-off. Then suddenly, these extraterrestrial beings arrive in Seabrook, provoking something other than friendly competition. Now, as we know, Addison has been inhabited by Meg Donnelly in all three of the films, and Zed has been inhabited by Milo Manheim. FYI, but not really. Milo Manheim is the son of Cameron Manheim, and Cameron Manheim and I worked on a sitcom maybe about 4 or 5 years ago called Living Biblically for CBS. So it's a full circle situation. Instihu. This is fun. It's for the kids. It's for the teens. It's a nice, light-hearted, energy-filled musical movie that Disney Plus does oh so well, as they've done with High School Musical and some other things along the way. The musical numbers are insanely choreographed by Christian Herrera. And if you are if you are a fan of this franchise, you're going to love Zombies 3. It's not going to matter what the numbers are. It's not going to matter about anything else, because you're going to love Milo and everybody else. But who I have from this film for you are two of my little nuggets, Miss Carla Jeffrey and Miss Kylie Russell. So I'm not going to even give you an intro into this interview because it's bananas. Here we go. Look at my namesake just being excited. And hi, Miss Kylie.
Hi.
Oh, my little nugget. Oh, I'm so excited to see both of y'all. Look, Carla just can't stop grinning. Cut it out.
I'm sorry. My cheeks are hurting. I'm sorry.
She's like, Carla.
Like, wait, which one? No.
You are so funny. You are so funny. Okay, so listen. I want to know how close you guys are to your character. I already know Carla's answer, so I'm going to start with Kylie.
I'm pretty similar to Eliza. We're both kind of laid back and chill. I will say that she speaks her mind a little more. So I love that about her. So I'm trying to do that more myself. So yeah.
And Carla, I already know the answer, but come on, hit me with it.
Well, of course, her energy, her bubbly self, literally always being optimistic and just like, yeah, we got this, let's do this. And I absolutely love being bubbly because I feel like I'm a big kid anyway. So I actually love getting to do that.
That must come along with the name Carla. It must come along with the name Carla. So I know both of you guys have Disney.
Like, seriously.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
Oh, no, nothing. What were you saying?
Oh, I thought you said something. Anyway. I know you guys come with the Disney lineage with you, right? I know that Kylie's little sister, my little nugget, Chelsea, was in The Lion King with me. And Carla, you have a twin brother that acts, yes?
Ma'am.
How does it feel for y'all to you have kind of joined the Disney lineage and been in it for a minute? So I'm going to start with Miss Kylie first. Because I know, Carla, you excited already. Go ahead, Kylie.
I mean, I've always loved Disney, and my older sister, she was one of the main reasons why I started acting to begin with. And when she did The Lion King, I idolized all of you guys, and I was like, I want to do a musical one day so badly. And then it finally got to happen. And then they were like, we're doing a second one. Now we're doing a third one. And I was like, this is so overwhelmingly amazing. And I just hope, whatever happens, happens. But I hope it can continue. But it's just a dream come true for sure.
And it's a hit too. Go ahead, Carla. I know you got something to say. Go ahead, girl. Hit me with
Well,
it.
I was just going to say, I've always, because I've been a big Disney fan, I was beyond jealous when my brother, he got a Disney show before me. I'm like, really? You're on Ant Farm? Can they put me on there? Like, what? Oh, now you're on Cloud 9? Wait, I want something. So, getting to work on a couple of different, Disney productions, Shake It Up, Best Friends, whenever. But this one was literally the biggest one that just like made me beyond excited, and he was really excited for me. So to have that love, I'm just like, Carlon, one day we're going to need a show on Disney. But I'm glad that we actually got to experience, the live together.
Thinking all of that needs to happen. I'm thinking all of that needs to happen for both of you. I'm thinking Chelsea and Kylie need a show. I'm thinking Carlon and Carly need a show. And Carla, why did I say Carly? Because people call me Carly too. And I'm thinking, maybe I need to roll up in there and play y'all's mama. I don't know.
Yes.
I was good luck for Zendaya on Shake It Up. Maybe I'll be good luck for y'all too.
On set, they say, Carla, who are they talking to?
No, but every time they kept saying, "Oh, you're going in for Carla," I was like, "Huh, what?" Okay. Anyway. What would you say is your favorite musical number of all the zombies that you've done? I'll start with Carla this time.
Definitely Alien Invasion. The sound is so different, and it's more like, now, and I feel like anybody, like I'll be blasting that on my radio. Like, it's really fun, and the dance choreography was absolutely amazing, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it and see it.
Yay, Kylie.
I'm gonna have to say Someday, because there's a different version of it in each movie, and each version is like beautiful. And the original version from Zombies 1, that's on my playlist today, and whenever I'm driving, I play it just because it gets me in a good mood. But honestly, Someday is by far my favorite for sure.
I love that. Well, you guys, I'm just going to wrap it up here, but I was so excited when I saw that y'all were on my schedule for today, because I go back with both of y'all. It's like, it's like a little mini reunion going on.
It is.
You know what I mean? Tell your mamas and them I said, what's up? Hello. Give them a big kiss and a hug for me.
Definitely.
I was going to ask Kylie something. I'm like, I can't ask that on camera. What was I about to say? What was I about to do? I don't know. Who was that?
No, thank you so much, Miss Carla. I really appreciate it. I miss you.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. And thank you, Kylie and Carla. I appreciate y'all. This was so much fun. We had a good time, right?
Yes, this was so much fun.
Thank you.
Yay. Okay, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Let me tell you something. They put Carla Jeffrey just excited, and it must be something about the name Carla that just makes people act out, because her and I were like, but thank you, Carla Jeffrey and Kylie Russell. And Kylie, as I was sitting there watching you in that interview, you remind me so much of your mom. You're just like, your mom is just like chillax, ethereal, chilled out. She's such a mensch. I love her. Again, you guys, Zombies 3 is going to hit the Disney Plus this Friday. So check it out. Check it out. Check it out. All right. Last but not least, y'all know I love period films. And for the last 3 or 4 weeks, that's all I've been talking about is period films between. And I'll be talking about some more because there's a couple of other ones that are coming up. But the one I'm going to talk about today is Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It's going to be released in theaters by Focus Features this Friday, July 15th. It's directed by Anthony Fabian, who I have here with us, and it stars Leslie Manville and Lucas Bravo, who I have here with us today. And I also have the fantabulous Oscar Academy Award-winning designer, Miss Jenny Bevan, who won the Oscar for Cruella, but designed the costumes for this one as well. And we have a nice in-depth conversation about that. So there's no need for me to, go into it because Miss Jenny's gonna break it all down for you. But I will say this, it was a bucket list moment for me to speak to her, because I used to watch, back in the day, there was this company called Merchant Ivory, and they were the company that was behind like Sense and Sensibility, the Emma Thompson one, Remains of the Day with Emma Thompson and Anthony Hopkins, and I mean, the list of her films just goes on and on and on. And I was fascinated with her work for a variety of reasons, mainly because my grandmother was a seamstress. And had she been given the opportunity, she probably would have ended up being a Jenny Bevan. And my mother is a wonderful seamstress as well. So it really warmed my heart and choked me up a little bit to be able to talk with her about her craft, because I have immense respect for that craft, regardless of who it is that is behind it, whether they have an Oscar or not. I just respect the art of costume design in whatever form it comes in, because it's uh, so importantly integral to how the characters are being seen within the project, right? All right, so now that I said that, let's talk about the movie. So, this takes place in 1950s London. A widowed cleaning lady, played by Leslie, falls madly in love with a couture Christian Dior dress. She's deciding that she has to have one of her own, and after working to raise the funds to pursue her dream, she embarks on an adventure to Paris that will change not only her outlook, but the very future of the House of Dior. This film is the ultimate tribute to Christian Dior and his brand. It brings up the question of class versus fashion. A lot of people, like a Mrs. Harris, normally aren't able to afford these haute couture types of designs. They're not able to go to a Paris Fashion Week or a New York Fashion Week or a Los Angeles Fashion Week. You know, they have to find stuff and by other means, or buy designer fashions by secondhand. So it does have a little bit of the class versus fashion thing going on. But having said that, the costumes in this film are absolutely exquisite, as are the production design and the cinematography. It's an inside look at haute couture from the inside out, which I kind of love because I don't know anything about that. So for someone like me, it's like, oh, really? That's happening? That's how you get fitted for a dress? Loved all of that. It actually feels like a lighter version of The Phantom Thread. It was a film. The Phantom Thread was a film that came out a few years back with Daniel Day-Lewis right before he retired from acting. It feels very similar to that, but like a lighter, fluffier version of it. And the main thing you need to take away from this is, you know, for the last 2 years, we have been living in our homes. We've been trying to avoid from getting COVID and everything else that's out there, and sanitizing and washing hands and, you know, all that madness. So it makes you sit back and think, and you're like, your dreams are needed more now than ever. We need our dreams more now than ever. That is the major takeaway from Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. For someone that loves fashion, for someone who is a fan of the Christian Dior brand, for someone who read this book, for someone who saw the previous version of this with Angela Lansbury a little while ago, you guys are gonna love this movie. So I'm gonna finish talking about it right now, and I'll let the directors, Anthony Fabian, the actors, Leslie Manville, Lucas Bravo, and Miss Jenny Bevan, talk a little bit about it some more. So I will start with the director, Anthony Fabian. Here we go. Hi, Anthony.
Hi, Carla. You look fabulous.
Well, thank you. So do you. I
Thank
love
you.
the flowers happening in the pink wall.
Yeah,
It's
well, I didn't
very
have
Mrs.
anything to do
Harris.
with that part.
That's okay. I'm gonna give you credit for it anyway.
You've got some pink behind you, too.
Oh, I love pink. Can you tell?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. This gave me so much joy. It was like watching Mary Poppins be a fashionista.
That's a great description.
Yes, and I want to know how you and the costume designer, Jenny Bevan, collaborated on these looks, because it centers around the Christian Dior brand. And I just want to know how you guys collaborated on that.
Well, we were very lucky that we had Christian Dior's cooperation, and they gave us full access to their archives and their sketches, and they advised us about, they asked straight away, what year is this film set? Right, 1957. Okay, out come the books, 1957. This is spring, summer. This is the winter, fall collection. And we pored over these books, and that formed the majority of the fashion show, was that particular collection. But it was also the 10th anniversary show. So I wanted to show some of the output from across the whole decade. And so there are dresses, for example, the very first dress that comes out, which is called the bar dress, that was the dress that defined the new look, and it's one of the most iconic dresses in his collection. So there are perhaps 7 or 8 dresses that come from an earlier period within the show, and then the rest were all specifically from 1957. And most of the dresses were absolutely authentic. They were either made by Dior themselves and lent to us, or replicated by the production team and the wonderful makers that Jenny Bevan works with. But the 3 hero dresses in the movie were sort of inspired by Dior, but with a little extra Jenny Bevan touch. And so those are the story dresses, whereas the dresses that are in the show are all real, authentic Dior.
I love that. And I also want to talk to you about, there were quite a few circular staircase shots. How difficult were those to shoot? Because it seemed like they were shot in some buildings that would have made it a little hard to navigate that.
Well, that is so clever of you to ask that question. Nobody has brought that up. I'm really impressed. I actually had a series of posts which were all about the staircases, because I became fascinated by these spiral staircases. And they are a sort of metaphor as well for the high and low in society, and the rise and fall and the aspiration. So there's a kind of metaphorical aspect to those staircases as well. And yes, they are very tricky to film on. So the very first staircase that you see, which is when she's going up to clean the apartment of Giles, who has all the nieces, we had a crane at the bottom of the stairs, and the crane had to follow her up because we couldn't follow her up. So the crane had to follow her up and follow them down and then turn. So that was very technically complicated on our very first day. On other occasions, we had a camera rigged to the ceiling at the top of the staircase so that we could film straight down or shooting straight up. So you're absolutely right. It was a challenge, but it was an important visual element for me.
It was an important visual element for me too. Oh, I wish I could talk to you even longer. I have so many more questions, but thank you so much for your time, Anthony. I love this movie so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving it to us. I appreciate you.
I am so grateful for your enthusiasm. Thank you.
Now, I think it's only a natural progression, as we talked a little bit with Anthony about the costumes, to go right to my girl Jenny, because this interview is a little lengthy. It's almost 10 minutes. So I want you guys to really listen to it, because she has some great nuggets that she's dropping. Here we go. Oh, Jenny, this is a bucket list situation for me. I have been dying to talk to you for decades. I'm so excited right now. I can barely stand it.
Well, now listen, calm down, easy, tiger. I'm here, not going anywhere.
Okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath.
Deep breath, that's good.
Okay. So, first and foremost, congratulations on your Oscar for Cruella. I know that was a while ago, but let me tell you something. When that race was happening, I felt some kind of way. I'm like, if Jenny does not win the Oscar, I'm going to have something to say, because your designs for that were insane, as were your designs for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. So having said that, how much did you actually collaborate with Christian Dior on the designs for this particular film, since he's so heavily spoken about within the confines of the picture?
Well, I will tell you a deep secret.
Okay.
I undertook this film on the understanding that Dior was going to be doing the Dior part of the film, and I would be doing the day clothes, or the civilian clothes, so to speak. And I went to Paris. I had the most fantastic afternoon in the archives. They are wonderful. They don't have a lot of 50s, because in the 50s, no one realized the importance of keeping pieces. You know, they did the collection, sold it, and off it went, and on to the next collection. So basically, they showed me all sorts of wonderful bits and pieces, and the way he did the layouts for the drawing and the fabric swatches and all this, all real. And then we sat down around the table, and I said to them, well, this has been a most wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much. Now, it's absolutely amazing to know you will be doing, the Dior part. And 4 eyes looked at me and went, no. I thought, oh dear, what have I opened? What kind of worms have I opened? So I said, well, they're integral to the story. Of course, I can make them, or rather, not me. I know people who can, but it will cost money. I think we were pre-COVID at that point. I think this was before Christmas. And so there wasn't that to worry about. It was simply, the fact that it really was going to cost. And we were on a very, very small budget. Anyway, so everybody agreed to talk about it. And I went away and I said, look, you've got to let me know soon, which of course they didn't. Anyway, cut a long story short, yes, we did make them. They lent me 5 pieces from their heritage collection, which is not original, but it's their remakes. And then basically they left me to it, and we chose the ones we'd use, and I designed the 3 that are the storytelling ones. The first one, the Ravissant, the Temptation of Venus, because they need specific things to happen to them. And then we had to leave someone in England looking after it, but I had 2 of my best makers, Jane Law, who made the Baroness in Cruella, and John Bright from Cosprop, who I've worked with forever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and we were doing the whole thing by remote control. And then a wonderful woman from Dior, Justine, came and joined us to make sure. I mean, Dior had to have approval of what I was up to.
Right.
Thank God they did, because the film is out. But Justine was terrific, and she came out to Budapest and helped us put it all together, and just gave her approval and was there like a rock. So we knew we were okay, and was a thoroughly nice woman as well. So we had fun, and that was the involvement with Dior, and then we basically did it. But Justine was there.
That's a fascinating story. I loved every bit of that. Oh, I'm so excited. So red is my favorite color. I know you can't tell right now because I got a bunch of pink and animal print on the screen right now. but literally, red is my favorite color. And that dress, I was like, if I'm ever in a situation where Miss Jenny, I can afford you to design, I'm going to need something like a Temptation in my life. I'm just saying.
Right. Well, it was taken from a real Dior, obviously, which I saw in the archive, and it was a red with a net over it, and the inner layer had endless sequins hand sewn on. So we had to try and find a fabric that had something of the life, had the colour for Ada, because, she isn't in her first youth. So you want to find a dress that she would like, she knows she would like, and that she will look good in. And we did find, and it was remarkably cheap, a fabric with, glitter and, properly done. I've probably done in India because they do stuff. And this, thank God, it was in the north of England, so it was we were able to get it, because you couldn't get out to shops, you couldn't, whatever. But the shape is as near Temptation as we could do, and obviously to fit on Leslie, to look good on Leslie, because that's the main point of it. And yes, you look fabulous in it, I can tell.
You should have never said that to me. You should have never said that to me. I want to talk about the scenes, and I just want to know how much input you had into them. The scenes where there were the actual fittings, with the way that the designs are custom fit to. Yeah. Did you have a lot of input with that in terms of how it was shot?
Quite a lot. Yes, me and Lauren, my associate designer, both had quite a lot, because we both have done fittings forever. And the lovely guy playing Monsieur Carré, I don't think ever had. So we were very careful to make sure he had all the right equipment and all that. Because I always hate it when you can see it's not true, or somebody buys a dress and then never wears it in a film, or all that stuff. It has to follow through. So yes, we did. We had a lot of, and also how much of the dress you'd see, because you wanted to show enough and make sure everybody knew which that dress was and all the rest of it.
Yeah. And there's this theme that flows throughout the film about class and fashion. There's certain classes of people can't afford these types of things, and they have to scrimp and save every little penny that they have to try to be able to afford that. I don't think that's the case anymore, especially with these companies like Rent the Runway and some of these other ones that allow you to actually rent designer clothing, by the month. But I was just wondering what your thoughts were about that whole ideology of class and fashion.
What's really changed is fast fashion, so that, kids and people without money can afford to buy things they think look great and they feel good. Unfortunately, of course, it's led to this horrific waste and everything else. And I come from the Mrs. Harris world, where you mended things. You didn't have many clothes and you mended them. And nobody minded doing that, But now, of course, people just buy things, they didn't even wear them. They hit the charity shop and they think that's fine. Poor charity shops are absolutely overwhelmed. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not into fashion myself, and I find it indulgent. And I prefer the idea of people being able to afford things, but also I love the idea of people keeping them and making them themselves, and and looking after things.
Jenny, I think you are Mrs. Harris. I think I am speaking to Mrs. Harris.
Yes, I'm of her type, sure.
Who is someone that inspired you to go into this lane? My grandmother inspired me, but I can't sew to save my life. Like, my stuff just looks like somebody tried to sew it. It's just bad. My grandmother was spectacular at it. And so was my mom.
Well, I think the people that inspired me were Piero Tosi, Anthony Powell, and John Bright. But that's probably more in the world of period stuff. I don't know quite who it would be. In the real world, in the modern world, the person who inspires me the most is not in film, it's in opera. And he's a guy called Barry Kosky, and he runs the Komische Oper in Berlin. And he's done work at Covent Garden and probably the Met, and his designers are extraordinary. But what it is, however extraordinary it looks, it's always centered on the story of the opera. And to me, if you look up Barry Kosky and the Komische Oper in Berlin, that is my go-to groupie, and that design for me is just phenomenal.
I've been watching your work for decades, and I am so excited that I finally got a chance to speak with you. I'm really, really happy that we could all make this happen today. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you. Cheered my morning up, I can tell you. Still wet in Sydney, you'd like to be pleased to know. Still got the but they say it'll get better later. Anyway,
I'm glad I could cheer you up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all, when I tell you I finished this interview with her, I'm about to cry now. And I cried for about 10 minutes, pure, unadulterated joy, because when I say I am a fan of somebody, like, I'm not kidding. I really am a fan of them. And I have been watching her work for so long. I was so excited to see her work. Let me fix this light. I'm looking crazy as a Betsy bug. My cheeks are all rosy red. I don't even have blush on. Anywho, that was Miss Jenny Bevan. So we spoke with Anthony. We spoke with the director, Anthony. We spoke with Jenny Bevan. And now we're going to listen to a little Miss Leslie Manville and Lucas Bravo action. And then I'll tell you what's coming up in a few. Hi, you guys. How you doing?
All right, thank you.
Good. Oh, my goodness. I love this movie so much. I was telling Anthony, it was like watching Mary Poppins go haute couture.
A couple of people have said Mary Poppins today, so yeah, I'm gonna stick that in my Mary Poppins bag and keep it, I think.
There's a line where I believe your character says it, Leslie, where you say, "We need our dreams now more than ever."
Yes.
What does that mean for you right now?
The world is in such a terrible state at the moment that dreams seem something that we shouldn't be aspiring to at the minute, because there's too much hard reality that needs to be addressed before you get onto the dreams. But I'm in a lucky, privileged position, and a lot of the things I've wanted to achieve in my life I've achieved, although still hopefully ongoing. But like Ada, I haven't been afraid to just unashamedly want a nice frock from time to time, because it's a tonic, isn't it? It's just a thing of pure, unadulterated beauty, and you don't have to explain why you like it.
It just makes you feel good. Lucas, how about you? What makes you feel good? Do men, you know what I want to know? Do men have the same obsession with fashion as women do? Because we are obsessed.
I think if we weren't living in such a patriarchal, misogynistic world, we would be authorized as men to actually have the same obsession, because we have it, but we live in a world where it's not, mainly to be obsessed with that.
So you're in denial.
Yes, we're all in denial, but it's not just about fashion.
I'll take you shopping
generally
when
speaking.
we finish this session.
All right. Thank you. You created this.
Listen, she can take me shopping too. It's not like I don't need some new clothes. I'm just saying. So, how do you feel about class when it comes to fashion? Those who can afford as opposed to those who have to really strap down and save to get it?
I always felt like fashion wasn't connected to money. I think the most fashionable people are people that are dressed with instinct and inspiration from thrift shops, and just have a clear sense of clear perception of what their image is, and they can perceive details. They see the world. They see what mixes, and it's like being a cook. It's like being a painter. It's just the combinations of colors and textures and things of life, and I don't think it applies to money.
It shouldn't
love
apply
that.
to money,
It shouldn't,
should it?
yeah.
I mean, all art forms, of which I include clothes design, it is an art. It should absolutely be open to everybody. And I think in that really lovely scene of the fashion show in the film, you see Ada being kind of frowned upon by these terribly snobby women, and it is shocking. And her reactions to the clothes is so kind of unfiltered. It's just lovely. She just loves it, whereas all the other women are kind of having to pretend to be something,
The blasé, the French blasé.
Yes, yeah. There are amazing fashion designers now, young, old, from all classes, who have got free rein to create what they want. And also, this is what we've striven to do in the arts as well, in acting, and that a long time ago, acting used to be kind of the domain of the upper middle classes. So the barriers are being beaten down left, right, and centre.
Well, I tell you what's not being beaten down left, right, and center is y'all's performance in this film. It was absolutely stupendous. I loved everything about it, and I love everything about y'all. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yay! So I would like to thank my guests this week, Miss Leslie Manville, Mr. Lucas Bravo, Miss Carla Jeffrey, Miss Kylie Russell, Mr. Anthony Fabian, Miss Hannah Marks, Mr. John Cho, and Miss Mia Isaac. Don't forget to watch their films in this order: Zombies 3, which hits Disney Plus this week, Don't Make Me Go, which hits Amazon Prime this week, and of course, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which hits on Friday in theaters via Focus Features. Next week, I am hoping to bring you guys, let me get my pictures up. I'm hoping to bring you guys, I love this movie right here. When the Crawdads Sing, baby, woo, Miss Reese Witherspoon and her Hello Sunshine Company, they are doing the daggone thing. They are doing it, honey. But Where the Crawdads Sing, I saw that and I got some things to say about it. Jordan Peele is back with Nope, Nope, and Nope. And of course, Paws of Fury is hitting. Ooh, I didn't see Paws of Fury just yet, so I didn't talk about it on this show, but I will talk about it a little later on. So that is it for this edition of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Again, if this is your first time joining me, give me a big thumbs up to let me know you were here. Click that bell for notifications if you are on YouTube below, so that you know when I'm going live or if I have a taped episode. subscribe to the channel because you never know who you're going to see here, honey. And I love y'all for tuning in. And I want to give a special shout out to these people. You can talk to me outside of the stream too. I want to shout out these people. Petal Love, Teeny36214, Angel Cabrera, Lee 16 Jaga, DeAndrea Church, Carla Fernandez, The Blurred Girl, Nona Donna, Cornelius Washington, Mia 7189, and Delilah Montgomery. Thank you guys so much for leaving your comments, for watching my interviews, for watching my podcast. I appreciate you. I love you. And it gives me no greater joy than to bring this content to you. So until the next time, y'all, please be vigilant. COVID is still out there. It's coming for folks. It's coming for folks. So wash your hands, be safe, wear your mask if you need to. And, catch your girl next Monday at 5:00 p.m. Pacific time, okay? Until the next time, love, peace, and hair grease, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye.